Thank you very much.
Okay, so good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. You're welcome to this week's Forex Outlook with Great White FX for the 11th to 15th of March 2024. So as always, we're going to start off with the economic calendar. So looking at next week, we have some serious high impact news next week. It's like the dollar is doing a birthday celebration next week. As you can see, high impact news on the US. We have CPI on Tuesday. We have CPI on Tuesday, and daylight saving is starting. So this daylight savings means that the candle opening will shift forward by 1 hour. So that means your
Oh,
4-hour candle is going to start, I think, by 11. So you start counting from 11, no longer 10. So we all need to be aware of that with the daylight saving starting. So Monday is calm. Monday, nothing on Monday. Tuesday, we have party on Tuesday. We have pound as early as 7 a.m. I think it shifts back. I don't know whether it shifts back or shifts forward, but I'll find out. I think it shifts back because if you notice, the news is coming out earlier. So I think it shifts back, not forward. But I'm not so sure, but you can check it out to find out. Then on that same Tuesday by 12:30 p.m., yes, it shifts back. It doesn't shift forward, it shifts back. Because normally this news would have been by 1:30. So
okay.
it has shifted back. So that means that the 10 a.m. candle now starts normally by 10. And the market now closes by 10. I think that's what happens. So with this daylight saving shift. So are we on the same? Are we together? So
Network?
on, yes. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So Tuesday we have CPI. This is going to be very, very interesting. This news is going to be of all the news you need to pay attention to in the trading world. NFP, non-farm payroll, FOMC, and CPI. You need to always pay attention to them. Hello, can you guys still hear me?
Yes. Very
Okay.
clear.
So Wednesday we have pound gross domestic product and USD 30-year bond auction. We have core PPI on Thursday. From that 12:30, lots of high impact news coming in. Unemployment claims on Thursday down to Friday. So this week is going to be very, very interesting. So as always, we're going to start off with the US 100, dollar index, Euro USD, pound dollar, gold, Euro pound, pound yen, and Euro yen. So let's start off with the US 100. So if we're looking at the US 100, just like I said last week, I said this pair is still bullish for now. This pair is still bullish. And if we look at what we have now, if we look at what we have now on the weekly, we have price coming into this other block here on the weekly. There has been a reaction of it on the weekly. If we go down to the daily, on the daily, there is a little bit of a pause. If you look at it on the daily, price didn't close above 18,339. It rejected. So we have this failure swing. So this is still bullish, but we might see a steep retracement because if you look at this, we have equal lows here. As we have equal lows here, we also have this fair value gap here. And I think this last week is at the equilibrium. Yes, just like I said, below the equilibrium of this daily fair value gap. If we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, price is sitting within this 4-hour bullish fair value gap. So we might see a bit of a reaction from here. If it can't take out this high, this might be where price might be coming into before the continuation to the upside. As we can already see, we have a fair value gap here already on the 4-hour. We already have a fair value gap here on the 4-hour. So that might, if price comes in here, gets rejected, then you're going to see price come in, sweep these equal lows, probably fill this before a continuation to the upside. So that's what we have on the US 100. So looking at the next pair, dollar index. So before we continue with the dollar index, I'd like to introduce us to our preferred broker, Trading Pro. They're offering a very, very rare opportunity. So if you sign up with a minimum of $50 to $100, you gain access to a trading community, weekly outlooks, charts, which are posted in the WhatsApp group and Telegram. You also get reviews, because from next week, I'm going to be starting New York session reviews from 12. So you get outlook going into the New York session every day throughout next week. So this is heavily being, this is not free. It's being taken care of by Trading Pro. So instead of paying almost $200 to $250 to gain access to this, you're getting it with a minimum deposit of $50 to $100. So if you want to find out how, you can send me a DM in my links in through any of my social media platforms, which you will find in the bio link in my YouTube video. So in my YouTube bio link, so you just check up on the YouTube bio link, you'll find any means to reach out to me to find out how you can take part in this. So let's proceed. So looking at the dollar index on the weekly, it's kind of like in a range. But on the weekly, I'm still slightly bullish on this pair because of the break above here. So this might be a retracement, expansion, and a retracement into this expansion. A retracement into this expansion. Well, it's a little bit dicey because if you look at it here, price did not close above these equal highs here. So this might still retrace a bit lower. If we go down to the daily time frame, we can see that price dipped into here. We need to take cognizance of this candle here. If you look at this candle, let me draw this. This was a consolidation area. This candle here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For 6 days, price was trading within this body, and there has been an expansion out of that zone. So price is coming back. If you look at this now, if I pull back you notice that price dropped to the 50% and there was a reaction there. So if we go into the 4-hour time frame, the possibility exists that this week we may see something like this. We might see once we get a break above 102.89, that will confirm a change in character. Then you wait for something like this, then for a continuation to the upside. So although this is bearish, we might see a bit of a retracement going into the new week before a continuation to the downside. The dollar would change back bullish once we have a close above 104.29 on the 4-hour. So as long as price remains below here, any rally on this might be an opportunity for a short. So that's it for the dollar index. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the EURUSD. The EURUSD is clearly bullish for now. So we'll be watching this area for a retracement and continuation. And if that continuation is to continue, we'll be watching it to come to this fair value gap here, which is at 1.100. And most likely price will be going to feel this coming into this new week. So for the EURUSD, any retracement is going to be an opportunity for a long. So going into the pound also, if we look at the pound on the weekly, we have a close above here. Just like I had explained to you guys, we have a break above this range. So what you'll be waiting for is a retracement. So if we go down to the daily, we'll be watching to see if price will come into any of these fair value gaps. If we drop to the 4-hour, we'll be watching either of these fair value gaps or this area to hold price as support, then for price to continue probably to this fair value gap, 4-hour fair value gap, or 1.2995, but it may see 1.300 first. So the next one we're going to be looking at is gold. Gold was amazing last week. If you check the previous review, it did not disappoint. So gold now has made a new high above 21.49. It's still clearly bullish. We may see a bit of a retracement if we go into the 4-hour time frame. Let's go into the 4-hour time frame. The possibility exists that we might see a bit of a retracement before a continuation back to the upside. So if that retracement is to happen, let's find out our weekly range first. So we have our previous week's high here. Previous week's high here, and we have our previous week's low here. So we have this as our daily range. So if we go into the daily time frame, we can see we have a fair value gap here. We have this, and we have a larger one here. If we drop down to our 4-hour time frame, I would be watching this area here. This is where I'll be watching if the retracement is to happen. Now, provided price does not first go for the previous week's high. If it doesn't go for the previous week's high, you expect a retracement and a move back up. But if it goes for the previous week's high and doesn't close above it, if something like this, you wait for a change of character and then you can take a short. But for this pair is still bullish. Any retracement on it should offer an opportunity for a continuation to the upside. The last but next pair, sorry, I was saying the last but not the least, is the Euro Pound. This pair has been in an ugly range. So basically we have a bearish engulfing on the weekly, but it's at a low. The bearish engulfing at a low is not always in anybody's best interest. We have this swing low here. We have this swing low here at 84.97. Then we have 84.92. I believe this is where price might be drawing for going into this new week. If we go into the daily, we can basically see we have this. We'll go to the 4-hour time frame. So any rally on this is going to offer a move back to the downside to come down to this low here. First, we will be looking at 8,500, then 84.98 before 84.92. So you might see a retracement, and where would you be watching the retracement? Into this boxed zone here. So you'll be watching for a retracement. There's a fair value gap here, as you can see on the 4-hour, a rejection, then you move back to the downside. So the next we're going to be looking at is pound yen. Looking at pound yen from the weekly point of view, we might be seeing a little bit of a top here. We have a swing high forming on the top at this point here, and if you notice, this is the 75%, I think, of a big fair value gap. I think it's a weekly fair value gap. Yes, we have this fair value gap on the weekly. So if you notice, this is the 75% of that range. And if you notice, price has rallied into that place and we have a swing high. If we drop down to the daily, we have what looks like a change of character here. Failure to break above this high. So on the 4-hour going into this new week, excuse me, let me set this properly here. We have this here. So on the 4-hour going into this new week, you'll be looking to sell into rallies on this pair. So where would your area of interest be? You're going to pick this high to this low. So you'll be waiting for price at 1.9011 to 1.9065. Then if it starts to move down, your first target is going to be this low, 1888.24. This 1800, and if it gets very extended, 186.90. That will be your target for the pound yen going into the new week. Last but not the least, the euro yen. So looking at the euro yen, if we look at it from the weekly, we already have a swing high forming here on the weekly. We already have a swing high forming here on the weekly, and we have a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. So that means that we might see more weakness going into this new week. So we have a change of character here. It will be visible when you drop to the 4-hour time frame. We have a change of character. So failure to take this high points to the fact that we might see a swing coming into this 4-hour fair value gap. If it fails to break above this high, then you'll be waiting for price to come down into here. So for this, we'll be waiting for a rally, rejection, and a move lower. Do I have any questions before we call it a night? Don't forget to sign up for our preferred broker. This is being sponsored by them. So it will offer you a whole lot of opportunities to improve your trading, an environment where you will truly learn and earn at the same time. So any questions before we call it a night?
Sorry, what do you mean by, sorry, I'm really sorry to ask this. Change of character.
Don't worry,
I'll
you
be
get the
hearing it.
training you get the training proper. You get the
All right.
training proper. Okay,
Thank
so in the absence of any question, I wish everybody a beautiful night's sleep and a lovely week ahead. Good night,
Are we
everybody.
meeting tomorrow?
No, no.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good night.